Okay, you guys, help me out here. Have you ever had to deal with a manipulator? There seems to be quite a few of them, especially within family. My wife had to deal with one she was very, very close to. We thought maybe narcissism was it. And I'm no psychiatrist, I can tell you that, or psychologist. But I do know the definition, rough definition of narcissism involves having yourself in the center of everything. Then there's a clinical or chronic kind of narcissism that has all kinds of other aspects to it. And most notably, is a famous world leader right now. We can see an example of almost every kind of narcissism, or every aspect of it. But in this video, I'm kind of asking you guys for your help. Instead of giving my take on things, I want to hear your take on things. I can be more specific, but I'll speak in general to protect the person's identity. My mom lives in a senior home, and she has dementia. My dad died in 21. And so mom had to go in a home, and she lives about 2.5 hours from us. And I do feel bad about that, because she seems so far away. But she's from that area, and having dementia, there was more people in that area that basically she was familiar with, and they were familiar with her. And so, you know, trying to make the best of it for her that way. And we have, well, she has a pretty close relative there, we'll leave it at that. And that's another reason that I decided finally, being mom's power of attorney, that probably the best place for her having dementia was there. And this other relative of hers, who is actually older than my mom, she was always a great respected person in my family, and I really looked up to her growing up. But after my dad died and the care of mom kind of fell into my hands, I started to see another side to this person. I don't know if I should give this person a pseudonym or name or something, but I got to see this person's, I'd say maybe dark side more, and her tendency to want to manipulate situations. Now, I've been, over the last 4 years since my dad died, and if you follow this channel, heavily involved in looking after my dad's old home, which him and I built, and when I was only like 19, 20, and my brother did help some, but he was very young because he was 6 years younger than me, so he didn't get to do as much. But this person now, and my father never got along, and now I've been seeing over the last few years just why that is. And my wife has had to deal with this sort of thing too, very personal in family, where it basically has divided her from her loved one, who is now passed away as well. And what this leaves, so I heard her experience and what it's like to have to deal with someone who is a controlling manipulator, kind of almost, I know it's some kind of a personality disorder of some kind. I don't really know what it is. I try doing, you know, like you say, you try doing your own Googling and everything. But yeah, maybe this video is more of a shoulder to cry on kind of thing. She told me many experiences of growing up, what it was like with her loved one, and how controlling they were, and a lot of people couldn't see it, but my wife could, and Unfortunately, she was basically the target, being the youngest in the family. She was the target of this person. So back to my relative. I love her very much. I always did. Fond memories growing up. But as I said, my dad was there, and my mom, I guess, is almost I was living in a little bit of a dream world, because I think this person was always this way, because, yeah, Dad and her didn't get along. And so she has taken on this role of, which she always has, being the caregiver of my mom, like, because she did it all her life, and my mom was the youngest in their family. And well, that being said, I have fallen into this place where to visit my mom is a 5-hour round trip, which is long, and which I have been making over the last several years, 4 years, I mean. And I have been able to drop in and see Mom and this other person at times. And sometimes I got down for Christmas and had special time. I remember, I think it was 2022 or 2023, I can't remember. And we had, you know, a great Christmas visit. And I got gifts for them, both of them. And this person lives very close to the home, so we were able to have Mom over to her home. But still, if you know what it's like to be living with a manipulator, that you're going to live their life. They don't see your whole life. They don't see where you are at, maybe financially, your availability, what else is going on in your life. They're just determined to bring you into their sphere and have everything done in their timeline. It has to be done, and they have good reasons. This person has said to me, you know, you're going to regret, you know, if you don't see your mom more. But the responsibility of looking after the house, we made several trips down there. I was in the hospital for a while, it was almost a whole year, where I was taken out with 2 surgeries. There was forest fires in the area. There was COVID just at the end of the peak of that. And for one reason or another, plus winter traveling, the house is dragged on till it's just about ready now to be listed. But it's taken a tremendous amount of work, and mostly it's been me, and that's for another story. But I've had to make that conscious choice where, even though the house was close to where Mom is, it's still roughly 45 minutes in and out, or an hour. And when I drive 2.5 hours and I have to work 3, 4, 5 hours, and we used to stay, when we could stay at the house and do some work. We were down one time a couple times for a week or so. It's just tremendous amount. My dad had a small engine repair. Again, there's too many details there, but just trust me on this. Incredible amount of work. And so this person will call me up, and we never spoke. I mean, before my father died 4 years ago, before that, you know, we spoke at Christmas. It was that Christmas call, that sort of thing. But now this person expects me to call her all the time, talk and discuss about updates about Mom. She never had any children of her own. So I think partially she's using Mom, me, as this kind of a son, right? So she'll say little things like, if I don't call her right back, or I don't answer the phone right away, which, I mean, sometimes I'm doing something. Sometimes I don't have this cell phone right with me all the time. And she's like, you know, if I said something like in the last phone call, I said, well, you know, I was just thinking of something I was going to tell you about my brother. You know, he wasn't feeling well, and I was just going to call you. And she's like, but you didn't. Those little digs, always. And it's like, well, I don't hear from you. But if she was to compare, like, I'm 61 now, and we never talked. But when Dad died and Mom became in her purview, I guess, then all of a sudden, so did I, and I fell in there. And my mom was kind of the type of person that, and it's probably why she got along with Dad or whatever, is that she is kind of an easygoing person, and in some ways she was always indecisive, couldn't make up her own mind, kind of I wouldn't say she's not a weak woman, but I think you know what I mean. Always dependent or codependent on someone. Dependent, I guess that's the term. But anyway, so I'm caught in this, I'm caught in, and I have been in this situation where the person is family. And I love them, and I have many, but that person is using our previous connections, you know, all that good history, and how I'll send them both cards and gifts in the mail, and once in a while my brother does too, but he lives far away. But I feel like, not only was the responsibility for getting the property ready all mine, plus seeing my mom, it was very hard to divide it. So I would say out of 5 trips to the area, maybe 1 was a visit to see my mom, where other times I was just too exhausted. I mean, after traveling that far, doing all this work, cleaning out all this stuff in my dad's basement, and on the property, he had junk everywhere. I mean, large junk and small pieces and whatever. It was just so much stuff. And you see the other videos. So yeah, I'm kind of left with it all. Yet here I am in this position where both of these people, my mom and this other person, I mean, if nature takes its course, they won't be around forever. I'll probably live longer than them. I don't know. That's a hard call, right? But given the statistics or the math, it should be so. And I have no desire to see this person take a, untimely death or whatever. But I'm just at the point where it's incredibly frustrating. It's like you're put in a position where no matter what you do, it's not enough. And so what they do is they put you into this. They put you on this treadmill of you've got to please me, you got to please me, you got to please me, and you're happy. You want to please them. You want to do good things for them because you love them. But then, as soon as the tap stops flowing, then there's talk of, well, everyone's talking down here how you don't visit your mom enough, and she's, you're gonna miss her when she dies, and you're gonna have regrets that you didn't see her. And look, this is not an excuse. It's just a fact to put in here. Those days where I'm completely exhausted from working on the house, which is not really for beneficial gain. It's like I have to get rid of it because it's getting old, falling apart. The siding is rotten on the side of the house. And if I don't get rid of the house, but the more cleaner it is, the more it's worth, yes. But it's not a monetary thing that's driving me. It's a thing that it has to be done. The land that's around it has to be sold, and it just has to be done. And I'm the power of attorney and will be the executor someday. And the more I get done now, the easier it's going to be. So I'm exhausted, but she has no idea I've been going down there, but she's trying to force me in conversations on the phone. We had a really heated, and I tried so hard. I mean, I tried to keep being pleasant. I said things like, well, why don't you defend me? Like, why do you go along with these other, you love me so much. Why do you go along with these other people? And then they get apologetic and sorry, and then, and everything is to either make you feel bad or guilty, or they want to motivate you. So they become experts. We're talking decades of a skill that they were, or a talent they were born with, and a skill they've developed for basically manipulating you into doing what they think you should be doing. And it's God's honest truth. If I was to go down there tomorrow, then in 2 weeks it would be something else. And I was going to tell you, the fact of this is, my mom's dementia is so bad that it's like, I mean, she can still recognize me. She knows my voice on the phone. I call her often as much as I can. And, like a couple of times a week even, if I can catch her at her phone. But if I went down there tomorrow morning, by that night, she would not remember that I had visited. Now you could say, well, it's for my benefit and not for hers. But part of me, the benefit would be for her. That's the way I look at it, is to make her feel better. Like, we had a great conversation, my mom and I, on the phone. We had a great conversation this one day last week, and this is just an example. This has happened more than once. This person always does this. Like when my dad died, he's like, you know, a 6 hours or something round trip away then. And it was like, you got to be there. You have to be there. It's your job to be there. You have to be there. And I'm like, when he went in the hospital, like, I've got a, you know, a partner who works and has to book off time. And I was in a catheter for 5 months and I had sciatica twice that took me out. You know, I told her I'm not the 25-year-old you used to think. And, but you know, if you even say these things to them, it's like, you can feel it in the conversation. You can feel it coming back that oh, you're just making an excuse. You're making an excuse. But they'll do everything. They'll put you on the guilt trip. And it's just to get you to do. They want to manipulate you. But yet it's kind of like they want to, here's the confusing thing about it, is that they want to manipulate you to do the thing you already want to do. Does that make sense? Like, I want to visit my mom, and I'm planning to go see her again. But at the present moment when I'm filming this, I also have IBD, and that flares up at times. It's not Crohn's, but you know, so traveling that far is difficult when that happens. And yeah, I'm 61. I'm dealing with things, but you know, I want to see her, but it's like, then you feel like, well, pushing back, the natural thing is like, well, if I go visit my mom tomorrow, I'm caving to her will. She sees that she's winning, and the more she wins, the more she tries to manipulate or control. Oh my, I don't know why these people bother. I don't get it. My wife had to deal with the same thing, as I said, and she had it her whole life. She had to grow up with it. And do you guys have any advice for me? I mean, I guess the best thing, isn't it, just to kind of, you got to be the, you know, pardon the gender biased term, but you got to kind of be the bigger man, don't you? You kind of have to just, there's nothing you can do. You can't fight with them. You can't argue with them. You can't cut them off because they're very dear family. And at this point, you know, she's in her 80s. I can't cut this woman off. Oh, it just makes it so hard. And it's so stressful for me because I'm a person that likes to make people feel good, to please them, you know. And so I guess the best thing to do is just continue to do it. Like, I plan to see Mom soon, so it'll look like I'm caving to this other person's demands, and then she'll have more demands. But you can't do enough. You can't. It's like, you know, like, you try every little thing you try to do, it's never enough. It's not. It's like, and nothing's good enough, nothing's worth enough, and really, you know, but yet they'll talk as if they'll get apologetic and sorry. And so instead of just rehashing this over and over, and there's so many incidences I could tell you, but it was a week ago, and I'm still feeling it, you know, the stressful, heavy feeling. I keep looking around because I heard a deer. I actually saw a deer come this way earlier, and actually, there's the tracks right there. Ran off the field into this path. So, well, you guys let me know. Put it down there in the comments if you got any help with how to deal with a manipulator that you just can't tell them to F off and get out of your life, because they're an integral part of my mom, like someone else's life, like my mom's. And I appreciate all the things that this person has done for my mom, because it really, really helps. And I tell her that, you know, and on Mother's Day, I'll send her cards. She's not even my mom. And I don't know. It's like I got to push her away with one hand and draw her in with the other. It's incredibly hard and stressful. And these people that are like narcissists and manipulators, they have no idea how exhausting they are. Anyways, if you got any advice, please put it down in the comments. I'd love to know. If you want to keep hearing stuff about issues that people in their 50s, 60s, and, you know, semi-retirement and retirement folks go through, just like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one, guys.